Hello and welcome to YakWaxLips. My name is Michael, your point-and-click adventurer, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a deep dive into Gamescom 2020, and particularly the Indie Arena booth, where loads and loads, and I mean loads of indie developers have showcased their demos and trailers, some for the very first time, and so I took myself digitally into their world and managed to play loads of them. The past 3 days of the Indie Arena booth at Gamescom 2020 was fantastic. I got to create my own little avatar and walk around these beautiful surroundings. You could dive into the developers' Discord channels, watch videos, ask questions, and it was basically a convention but all online. Well done, guys. Over the 3-day festival I managed to play 15 demos, from cyberpunk noir thrillers through to funky side-scrollers. And of course, because this is YakWaxLips, I dedicate everything to the adventure game genre. Some of them were point-and-click games, some of them were visual novels, and some of them were just, well, you'll see. So sit back and relax as I delve into my top 15 demos of the festival. At number 15 is the visual novel Solace State. Solace State is a visual novel created by Vivid Foundry, also known as Tanya Ken. I knew nothing about this game before the festival and played it purely on the trailer. Now, in terms of gameplay, it's pretty light. It's slotted in at number 15 because yes, it's an adventure game, but you don't really have to do anything. It is all choices. It reminded me a bit about the Hunger Games or Divergent, but definitely Christopher Nolan in the style. I played as a young girl, Chloe, who was looking for her friend Rebecca. There is no inventory or puzzles. It is literally just the conversations you have. You say one thing, you go down a different path. If you said another thing, it would go down another. It was a fun but slightly chaotic demo, and we'll just have to see where this goes. The full game is out in 2021. Next up is the first game that I played at the festival, Genesis Noir. This game was featured previously on my trailer talk video, and it is by Feral Cat Den based in New York. I was really looking forward to playing this, and I did have a great time. However, I think I went into it thinking it was more of a traditional point-and-click game rather than the experimental jazz fusion that I experienced. The Art Deco visuals were fantastic, it's all hand-drawn, and the jazz was really cool too. The puzzles themselves are very avant-garde, and it doesn't seem to be a linear way through. I will still be playing this when the full game comes out. Side note, there's no date yet. I enjoyed it. It was a good way to while away 20 minutes, and next time I'm sure to go in with a more open mind. At number 13, it's Welcome to Elk by Triple Topping. I knew about this game previously thanks to the Steam Game Festival, but only at this festival have I managed to pick it up and play it. It was certainly different to what I expected. First off, there was no mouse, it's all keys. From the blurb of the game, these are true stories, or at least based on true stories. And although the art style certainly looks bright and colourful, the gameplay was pretty graphic and grim. I don't say that in a bad way, it just took me by surprise. I guess the moral of the story for me is don't go into games thinking that they are something else. There was a fun little minigame in there where you had to do dance moves, but then you chop and change that with a guy who was really graphically abusive, and it didn't sit right with me. I'm not sure how it's going to work out as a full game, whether it's going to be one long story or several short chapters. It was one that stuck with me, and I am genuinely interested about where it's going to go. And with the release date imminent, I'll expect to see it on this channel again soon. At number 12 we have Silvernode Studios with their game 9 Noir Lives. This is a game that I did play at the Steam Game Festival in the summer, and to be honest, it took me 15 minutes to get to any actual gameplay. The intro was so long, I simply gave up on it. But I gave it another chance, and thankfully this time the intro was cut completely and you just delve straight in. It is still very talky. And once I got past the initial few puzzles on the first screen, it delves straight back into the previous intro, and yes, it carried on for a little bit too long. However, I persevered this time, and I'm glad I did. There is certainly a great game in there. It's of the more traditional adventure game as well, which is definitely my bag. Point and click games, or rather, point and lick. Yes, you're a cat, and you get to lick things. But not just for kicks. If you lick something, it could give you an extra clue to solve the crime. It's a cool little mechanic, and the graphics are fun too. I'm hoping that when this is released, it turns out well. There's no word on the release date yet though. At number 11, it's Cyanide and Happiness Freakpocalypse. Now, I've known about Cyanide and Happiness for, I don't know, a decade. and they're little comics to while away the time, and they can be pretty graphic. And so the creators of Cyanide and Happiness have decided to create this point and click adventure game. And I did hold off playing this for quite a while. It was one of the last ones I played, simply because the gallows humour just doesn't do it for me. However, I did persevere, and to be honest, the puzzles were pretty good. I quite enjoyed them. But then I have to pair that up with the fact that it is really crass. The humour is strong, but then it's all subjective. If you do like that kind of thing, then I definitely would recommend this game. Each screen there is loads to click on. Pretty much every item that's on the screen you can click on, be it a door handle or a bell or well, just literally there are so many things to click on. For some people this can put you off, it gets a bit confusing, but for me, I feel like I'm immersed more in the world when I can click on loads more things. Although I don't think I'll probably be playing this game when it comes out fully, it was good to do the demo, and I hope I've shared my view that, yeah, it's not my bag, but if you're into that thing, you get it. The release date for this is summer 2020, so it could be any day now. Into the top 10 now, and we have Growbot by Wabi Sabi Studios. Another one I came across thanks to the Steam Game Festival, and only just got around to playing now. The demo was really teeny, only about 5 minutes, but I really enjoyed it. Like Cyanide and Happiness, there was loads to click on in the screen. So you play this little robot dude who I think has been left behind. There was a journal that you didn't necessarily have to click on, but I clicked on it and read loads, and it tells you the history about your kind of character. So it turns out there was a robot that is now a super robot, and there's lots of offshoots. But it's that kind of detail that really immerses me in the story and the world. There was really only about 2 puzzles throughout the whole thing, but it was a fun 2 puzzles and it was a quirky 5 minutes. I will be following up on Grobot because I think it's got promise. All I know for now is that it's released in 2020. At number 9 on my list, I welcome Jessica from Tri-Tree Games. This is a game that is actually already out. It came out a few months ago. But I didn't know anything about it until the festival, and I played it on the back of the trailer. It's a kind of found footage game, and I would class this as an adventure game because you're trying to figure out what happened to Jessica. She committed suicide, and it's not everyone's cup of tea, this kind of game. And to be honest, it's only really the first one I've played of these. We deal with some kind of detective agency which deals with encrypting files and emails, that sort of thing. So we have to reply to texts. We have to type in keywords and see if they're found into different files. And when you do find a file, you feel great. For example, you type in the word Jessica and loads of files come up. And they're all videos. So you can click on a video and it shows you a short 15, 20, 30 second clip. Off the back of this clip, she might say the word castle, for example. She might be talking about a picture of a castle. So then you go into the files and you type castle. More videos come up. And I quite like the idea of this. It might not be a new concept for you, but for me, it was. And I enjoyed myself. It took me about 45 minutes for the demo to finish, and to be honest, I wanted more, so I will probably be going out and getting this game. And like I said, it is out now. And at number 8 in my list, it's A Space for the Unbound from Mojican Studios. You might recognise the name Mojican Studios because in my Steam Game Festival review, I did play a game called When the Past Was Around by the same studio. That was a very different art style. This is very old school pixelated. Almost kind of Nintendo RPG-ish. And in fact, when I first started playing it, I thought it was an RPG. But despite all the appearances, it's not. I would class this as pretty much a traditional point-and-click game, despite how it presents itself. You play a young boy who's helping his friend write a story together, but she suddenly gets writer's block, and so you try and help her get past that. And suddenly there's a magic red book that you can dive into people's heads and change their thoughts, and yeah, it gets quite complicated. But the main thing is it's really fun. Behind the cute pixels, it's really a harrowing story about relationships. It took me by surprise, this one did, to be honest. I wasn't expecting much, but I was sucked in pretty early. Unfortunately, there is no date for when this is released. However, I will be keeping tabs on this, so I'll let you guys know. And that concludes part 1 of this 2-part series on the adventure games at Gamescom 2020. Please let me know if you played any of these games and your thoughts, and also if I missed any games. Coming up in part 2 is the top 7 games of the festival, including Espionage Amongst Mountains, yet more anthropomorphic detectives, and Admin. Yes, Admin. If you love adventure games as much as I do, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and whilst you're down there, please give it a huge thumbs up because it really helps YouTube and the algorithm and get this video out to more people. Be sure to catch video number 2 coming very soon, and until next time, take care.